Good afternoon, welcome to the Restoration Station. My name's Pete and it's Friday the 19th of March 2021. This is my second video documenting the restoration of a Victorian cottage that I purchased a couple of weeks ago, built in around the 1860s. And in my first video I talked about some of the general structural and damp issues that this property has. Now you may recall from the first video that there is a downstairs outside loo. So what I'm going to do is take you out there with me now and we'll talk about what I'm going to do today. So out the kitchen door. And if you haven't seen the first video, that doorway there is the only access to this outside loo. Now, before I show you inside, I will very briefly talk about the issue that I'm trying to tackle here. Everything else I will cover in separate videos, but primarily the damp is being exacerbated by the fact that cement render has been inappropriately applied to a traditional building. So these solid bricks, they are built with lime mortar, they're soft handmade clay bricks, and applying this render is much like wrapping the building in cling film. The water gets trapped behind, it can't breathe, and these cracks where the cement is not flexible like lime mortar, as the building settles it cracks, more rain gets in through these cracks and behind the render, runs down the sort of between the bricks and the render, and they just can't breathe, they can't dry out. The ground levels out here are very high, and if I show you inside this downstairs loo, we've got clay Pamet tiles on earth, so the ground levels in here are sort of level with the outside, which is not ideal. Now, straight away you can see, and if you were here you'd be able to smell, just some of the issues that this damp is causing. And these soft handmade bricks are crumbling into dust. They're just being left in piles on the floor, and this plasterboard here, you know, this is literally falling apart at the slightest touch. You know, it's really suffering. You can see damp patches on the floor, more piles of brick dust in this corner. And it's because, as I said, the moisture can't escape through the walls can't breathe, the moisture's retained in the bricks. Because they're soft bricks, they tend to crumble and fail. And so what I'm going to do in here is just remove this plasterboard. The best thing to do to get these walls drying out is obviously remove the render from the outside, but I've only got a couple of hours this afternoon, so I figured something is better than nothing, and this needs removing anyway. I'll be very interested to hear what you guys might do with this room. So obviously being used as a sort of outhouse utility boiler room downstairs loo, and just on the other side of this wall here is the kitchen that I started this video from. So yeah, any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. Please like and subscribe. I will try and do some time-lapse. I've just walked into the washing machine door and fallen over my words. But yeah, I'm going to do some time-lapse activity now. Oh, for goodness sake, time-lapse activity. Sorry, I can't speak. There's so much brick dust piled up behind here, it's incredible. So I'm going to continue, but it's slightly slower and doesn't come off as easy as I thought it might do, but cracking on. Check this out. This is all dust. That's where all the bricks have got damp and damage behind this plasterboard, piled up behind it, and it holds the moisture in the wall as well. Dusty! Well, I'm glad that's over. What a job. And if anyone's going to make house restoration not look glamorous, it's me. I caught a glimpse of myself, and what a terrifying sight. I look like I've been squatting and working in a dilapidated Victorian cottage. So, quick summary then. At the beginning of the video, I was showing you the general condition of this part of the building. Very mouldy, plasterboard hanging off a partly rotten timber studwork, very strong smell of damp, piles of brick dust all around the edges and the corner of the room. Stage one of trying to deal with that damp is taking all of that plasterboard out and seeing what the general condition of the brickwork is behind. So I'll give you a guided tour in a second. Obviously, as I touched upon the causes of that damp, cement render on the outside of the building and cement mortar, incorrect ground levels in here, the wall behind me, the road leading to the church breaches the DPM, so you've got water seeping in. It's not properly ventilated, it's not insulated, it's not heated. You've got the boiler in here, which clicks on, hits cold air, and then you're obviously getting condensation. The plasterboard was trapping brick dust in the cavity, which was acting like a sponge. So really it was a perfect storm of this room suffering terrible damp issues. So let me show you what I've discovered. So a wooden lintel here over the door of the outside loo. In reasonable condition, but I don't know if I can do anything with it going forward. Lovely sandstone blocks, which were a nice surprise, but again quite badly deteriorated, and I don't know what I can do with those going forward either. General condition of the brickwork, as I expected, not great. Quite a few gaps between the joists, spalled faces, failed and missing bricks. The lime mortar has obviously fallen out in quite a few places. Quite a cute little touch that I found in the wall is a shell mixed into the lime mortar there. All these electrics and plumbing I'll be dealing with in due course, and I'll let you know plans for this room, but I'd be very interested to hear what you would do. Big holes in the brickwork here, quite a lot of salt bloom on some of the faces of these bricks, and as you know, salt retains moisture or attracts moisture. It's hydroscopic, so is it hydro or hygroscopic? One or the other, let me know. Loose bricks around the boiler flue, not great workmanship. You know, big hole you can see, gap to the outside. There's a big hole here as well where I can fit my whole arm through into the garage, where they've just stuffed loose bricks and they have the overflow for the loo actually just going into the garage, onto the garage floor. So that's not ideal. Obviously more failed brickwork, more gaps between the joists. This large timber beam I exposed. It's deeper than I thought, which is cool, but I don't know whether I can sort of leave that fully exposed. And obviously more failed bricks all around the place. So there we go, that's everything that I've pretty much discovered behind that plasterboard as expected. All the remedial work, every other thing that I need to do I'll cover in a separate video, and my next video will be about removing the cement render. If you remember, the point of this exercise was to start getting this room dried out. So getting the plasterboard off was the first thing, getting the cement render off the outside to then start letting the building breathe. That's the next thing, and also dealing with the tarmac road along on the other side of this wall, you know, where it's up breaching the DPM. So please do like, please do subscribe. If I've glossed over anything, please do leave me a comment in the section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Otherwise, I will catch you in one of my next videos. Thanks very much for watching.